Hello, my name is Spencer Denyer. I am the Group Director and Editor-in-Chief for PSG Global Publications. I'm also the Honorary Chairperson for the upcoming Melbourne Data Centre Satellite and Green Tech Conference and Expo to be held at the Grand Hyatt Hotel on Friday, February the 26th, 2010. With me today on my left are three people who will be presenting at the conference, and I'd just like to introduce them to start off this interview. To my immediate left is Mr. Michael McPhee, who's the Associate Director for Umow. Next to him is Mr. Anthony Dorinko, who's an Associate with Umow also, and they'll be doing a tag team performance at the conference. And last but not least is Mr. Bruce Klimeck, who's the Data Centre Operations Manager for Primus Telecom. Thanks very much for coming, guys, for this pre-conference interview, and everything that will be recorded here will be used against you at further blackmail sessions. All right, what I would like to do now is get on to the presentations that you're going to be speaking about at the Melbourne Data Centre Satellite Conference on Friday the 26th of February at the Grand Hyatt. Did I mention that? Look, firstly with you guys, Anthony and Michael, you're going to be speaking about tri-generation screens in data centres. When we just mentioned, look, that's been around, cogen, trigen for a while, but it still hasn't been adopted as much as what I believe it really should be. So if you could just give us a bit of a précis and overview of your presentation and what some of the key takeaways for delegates will be from that.
Yes, well, the trigen really is an ideal application for data centres. A data centre usually has a pretty constant electrical load and a pretty constant cooling load. So you can select the trigen plan. Well, I suppose we should go back for the people who are maybe not quite sure what a trigen is. I mean, it's a bit of a new term for an old system. Basically, a trigen is three sources of power. You generate electricity on the site. You use the waste heat for heating, and you use the waste heat for heating, and also the waste heat to generate cooling in an absorption chiller. Now, in a data centre, we don't usually use the heat for heating the building. So really, we use all the heat in the absorption chiller.
Unless it's an existing premise.
Unless there's an office or something attached to it, you can use some of the heat. But basically, you use all the heat in the absorption chiller to produce chilled water. So it's, as I said, it's an ideal application because you've got a constant electrical load and a constant cooling load. So you can select the plant that runs ideally 100% loaded, and you use all your waste heat. So that in a normal hospital or an office building, you don't have that luxury because you get a varying heat load, a varying cooling load. You can't often always use the waste heat, and you also have a varying electrical load. So sometimes as you generate less electricity, you also generate less heat. So it's not as ideal for those sort of buildings, but for a data centre, it's a constant issue. So we've looked at it for projects, and we think it's a viable option.
Yeah, unfortunately, having an outage is not the best thing for a data centre manager. However, it's something that's happened.
You're still there?
Well, it's something that's happened, and you have to sort of live with it. And obviously, the first thing you've got to do is identify the cause, and then rectify the cause, and put them into place. That was all done. Now that's standard. You expect problem is an issue here, problem with the generator, get a new generator. So we did that.
And this will be part of your presentation.
That's part of the presentation, but also another part of that is we had a deeper look into the facility. We had a look into the future, so we realised that, okay, our UPSs were sufficient at the time, our main switchboard was sufficient, our cooling towers were sufficient, but what we decided to do is look at it and sort of be proactive, so we've changed out the high voltage substation, which as a result we had to happen because of the outage. We also changed out our main switchboard. We changed out both UPSs. We changed out both cooling towers. We've upgraded as much of the infrastructure as we possibly can to make it more solid into the future, realising that it wasn't effective now, but by making things operate at 80% or 75%. It's a much better way of doing things, because electrical systems operating at 90 to 95% is not good. So we just, I suppose, over-engineered to a certain degree to make sure that we are going to be solid for the future. But that's not really the lesson. That's standard. The real lessons coming was basically communication, or lack of communication with our customers and stakeholders.
Yeah.
It's something that's so simple that we realised later on that shit, we didn't do that properly. So we went away and reassessed it. And you've got to tell the customers quickly what's going on. You've got to be, you've got to tell them sort of frequently. So you sort of send out an update on a regular basis, and also be factual. You've got to tell them what you know. You say, here's what's happened, and here's what we do to rectify it. So that was that was probably the key issue that I got out of it. And obviously knowledge. I thought I was pretty knowledgeable. However, now with this notice place backwards, as an operations manager, you must know what every breaker does. If that breaks, what's the cause? What's the effect? What's your capacities, the full capacities on all the systems? Your cable ratings, your breaker ratings. If something goes wrong, how do I do it? How do I fix it? How do I rectify it? How do I have a workaround? And the other issue is training of staff. I've got great sets of procedures and great staff, but you have to go through and train them up. You have to run them through it all the time. It's a case of follow the procedure, but it's, someone there who's an IT technician hitting a breaker, it's not much fun. So you've got to run through them, actually get them physically to break, because they realise, oh, there is resistance here. It doesn't turn out like a switch on the computer. So it's one of those things you've got to sort of do that all the time. And it's continuous training and continual knowledge. Now, I found out yesterday that one of our crack units went into alarm, and with this particular alarm, you've actually got to get in and reset everything inside of it. Where all the other units, you just press the button, turn it on, turn it off, and it works. But this one, it doesn't. So I'm learning things all the time. If anyone says I know the facility 100%, I would suggest they don't. But I'm not an engineer, but I'll tell you what, I know more about crack units and power rooms now than I ever did. But from an operational perspective.
Well, thanks. That's great. I think that everybody will be certainly looking forward to the presentations on the 26th. There's certainly some great takeaways there. Some very important information for data centre managers to whatever level they are, whatever they're doing with their facilities. At the conference coming up, it's the first major conference of the year. 2010, we're coming off the back of the global financial crisis over 08, 09. We'll get onto that a little bit in a minute about the outlook, but the conferences, how do you see the conference, the data centre conferences being of benefit to delegates, to vendors, to consultants, to engineers, and the like, the whole thing?
Well, I suppose conferences are always good for actually getting what's happening in the industry. That's what, if I go to a conference, it's a quick way to update yourself with the latest thinking. And that's what I would, if I'm attending a conference like this, I want to go there and I want to spend a day, because everybody's got their own pressures, and I update myself as quick as possible. So that's how I would see what I would hope if I was attending it, that I would get latest thinking, what people are talking about, the buzzwords, understand the issues in one day. You give up a day and then you get all this knowledge.
So network with various levels, through the vendors, with your peers, with end users as well, and understanding their needs, problems and concerns and so forth. So Anthony, what's your...
I just see it as a great networking opportunity, talking to vendors, talking to suppliers, talking to other engineers, and just sort of, getting a whole stack of ideas and sort of developing my own ideas from there. So.
It's a bit of a two-way street, I think. It's about sort of getting information out, it's also imparting information, it's adding the whole, I suppose what we call the knowledge database of the industry, and so the more people attend to these things and get involved from various levels, not just end user, but from the sponsor to consultant and engineer type of thing as well. It's just going to add a great benefit and provide a greater impetus in sort of